We're getting news right now. First, we saw the first images of the crash site of the Iranian president, and now the Iran state TV has said that there is no sign of life in the president's helicopter. Iran's Red Crescent chief says that missing helicopter carrying President Ebrahim Raisi has been found, underlining the situation at hand, and I'm quoting here, it is not good. And for more on this, we're now being joined by Adrian Calmel, fellow at Arabian Peninsula Institute and a terrorism and a Middle Eastern scholar. Adrian is joining us live from New York. Welcome to the broadcast, sir. The Iran state TV has said that there is no sign of life in the president's chopper, with the Red Crescent chief saying that the condition of the chopper is not good. How do you assess the situation at hand right now?
Thank you for having me back once again. As the news has played out, I think over the last couple of hours, most of us have come to the conclusion that it wasn't looking good, and there would be no signs of life there. You look at it's an old helicopter. It crashed in a very in poor weather, in a very mountainous region, and the conditions were really bad. So you mix the elements together with the hard landing. It was never going to be positive from the regime's perspective.
Right, Mr. Calmel, you speak of how the weather conditions has also been cited as the cause of crash, which is further complicating the situation. That's exactly what the Red Crescent chief has also said, that the chopper has been found and it is not in a good condition. Talk to us about the risks of flying a helicopter in such bad weather conditions. We are learning that the chopper that was used for Raisi was a Bell 212 chopper. Talk to us more on that.
Yeah, so it is a Bell chopper, but what you have to remember with these choppers they were American provided, and the frames on these choppers are extremely old to begin with. Why you would be making a rotary wing trip of that distance over mountainous areas, it speaks to laziness. It speaks to either laziness, hubris, or just poor planning. It should have taken a plane. It makes no sense to do it the way they did it. And usually the way people like Raisi fly into places, they usually do it at very low altitudes on a plane, not on helicopters. So it's just it's odd.
Right, Mr. Calmel, search and rescue operations are still underway for the Iranian president and the foreign minister. Countries around the world have started offering help, from Russia to Turkey. EU has even activated its mapping system. Talk to us about how all these help can perhaps aid in search of the Iranian president and the foreign minister.
Well, I think what you look at is the countries that are closely aligned or aligned right now with the Islamic Republic. Mentioned Turkey, mentioned Russia. They're going in helping with the rescue. And then as an international body, the UN is activating those systems. Don't expect help from, I would say, Western nations on this, considering, well, we have to look at Raisi's record. Just alone, he signed this death sentences of 30,000 Iranians. So he's known as the butcher of Tehran for a reason, or the hanging judge. And I don't expect the U.S. or the UK or anybody else to come running to help, nor should they.
Mr. Calmel, the incident, this fateful incident took place when the Iranian president was on his way back from East Azerbaijan. Iran and Azerbaijan on Sunday opened a hydroelectric dam on the border, shortly after which reports started surfacing of this incident. What can you tell us more on that?
Yeah, so there has been obviously there has been friction between Azerbaijan and the Islamic Republic of Iran. And with that friction, this was kind of, I would say, part of the type of normalization process that the Islamic Republic has been trying to do with its neighbors that aren't necessarily aligned with them. Now the trip back is going to completely wash this trip of any meaning whatsoever, because what happened here with Raisi, what many of us predicted, what I believed, and I think a lot of analysts believe, is when he was selected, not elected, because there's not elections, there's selections. When he was selected, that he was probably the logical successor to Ali Khamenei. So that is the big takeaway from this. That is in the internal political dynamics inside the Islamic Republic is something to keep an eye on.
Mr. Kalman, you speak of the internal dynamics inside the Islamic Republic. While the search operation is going on for the Iranian president, the leader, Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has said not to worry about leadership of Islamic Republic. How do you assess that?
Well, it's because he's got the people around him and it's a great question. He's got the people around him that toe his line. The most logical successor that is spoken about is his son, Moshtaba Khamenei. And some people thought there might be actually a power duel between Raisi, who was elected or selected, and Moshtaba, which creates an interesting and really not a good dynamic for the Islamic Republic, because then it looks like it's a hereditary position, which is not something that they want. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But he believes that the ideology is deep enough, it's enshrined enough within the population, and you wouldn't expect him to say anything else. But the leadership is fine. We'll make it through this, because at the end of the day, Khamenei calls the shots, and he's old, but he'll have a successor lined up.
Mr. Kalman, there were 3 choppers on board, but 2 of them returned back safely to their destination. But the one which had the Iranian president and the foreign minister, that was the one that met with that fateful incident. What do you have to say on that?
Yeah, I wouldn't read much into that. Again, you have to go back to the weather conditions, the helicopters. A lot of these have been retrofitted with an original frame that goes back decades. So I think it comes down to just really poor decision making to put your foreign minister and your president, who's been doing all of the JCPOA negotiations, trying to play hostage diplomacy with the West, and then put them on a helicopter that are unreliable. And that's putting it nicely. I wouldn't step on one of those.
Ms. Kalman, like we've spoken about how the countries around the world are offering assistance and help to Iran at the moment at such a crucial and distressing time. What are the other countries looking out for, especially the West?
With the West, I think a good part of it is kind of written in stone. Well, for the next 50 days, we've got a placeholder. We're going to have 50 days where the VP will take over. He'll be running the show. So I say running the show, but again, Khamenei runs the entire operation. So that'll be interesting to see who gets put forward in the election process and who ends up getting selected by Khamenei. It'll also be very interesting to see who replaces Amir Abdullahian as the foreign minister, because before him it was Javad Zarif, and then they brought him in, Amir Abdullahian, and he's been difficult to negotiate with for the West, and I think that has been that's been done on purpose.
Mr. Kalman, we are yet to see any visuals of the team on location or any official confirmation of the team having reached the president's chopper, with the state TV saying that there are no signs of life on the chopper there. But thank you so much for taking our time and joining us here on Beyond with your insights. We'll, of course, be tracking this very closely here.
Thank you so much for having me back. Have a nice evening.